Welcome back to the Unanimous Decision Podcast. I am your host, D Palm. Follow me on Blue Sky, Twitter, your social media of choice at DPalm66. Follow the entire show at UD Pod. Follow the entire MTR network at, you guessed it, the MTR network. You found us. Don't you dare lose us. Subscribe on iTunes. Subscribe on Spotify. Subscribe on YouTube as I drag this podcast into 2013. We're back, as always, brought to you by DanielParMortgages.com. If you can afford your rent, you can afford a mortgage. It's my job to help you qualify. Our latest episode of Life, Love, and Real Estate, episode 10, comes out next Wednesday. It's a conversation about legacy. We kind of talk about the 10 episodes in, like a lot of podcasts don't make it 10 episodes. It's been exciting to watch us grow and change through it, but also we talked about like what we leave behind. For our communities, a lot of times it's not historically been something material. It's been I think one of the big things we touched on was like the audacity to try things, to effort, to bet on yourself. That's a lot of the legacy that was handed to us that we carry forward today. But today, it's Friday. It's Friday the 13th, which low-key, love this day. We got Felder here. It's Felder Friday. And Felder, before we get into swim, before we get into anything else, I'm hijacking your free space for something I want to hear from you about. Because, listeners, when we got off the air last week, all Michael Felder could tell me about was how excited he was for that Wayne album. He told him about his experience going to see him in Raleigh recently, and everything else. So the Carter 3 dropped on Friday. You and I haven't spoken. I've seen all the commentary about the disappointments and X, Y, and Z. How did the album hit with you?
I love it.
Oh, dyed in the wool. That's a great answer. I love that answer.
I'm like, I understand why people don't like it. Remember when Yeezus came out?
I am someone who has stopped listening to Kanye West long before that, but yes.
Okay, that's fine. What I'm saying is, do you remember when it came out and people hated it?
Yes.
Because it was like a little bit more rock and a little bit more like alternative alt sound, that stuff. People hated it because it wasn't 808s and Heartbreaks, and it wasn't Graduation Day, and it wasn't like that. It wasn't that. Which is what they wanted. They wanted pink polo Kanye, and what they got was a guy in like crazy ripped jeans with like with a leather jacket.
Hasn't Wayne gone through that phase already? We had that with that album I didn't like.
Well, this is more of this is I like this. I like the mesh. I like the fact that he's working with different artists from different genres. And he's on it. Like I love like King Carter, obviously to kick off the album. It's a what is it, like a minute 50 song, but he gets in there and does his thing. And I like when artists do things a little bit differently that make you have to think about it. And
ever said Lil Wayne made me think. This is the first time in the history of America someone said a Lil Wayne project made me have to think. That's some shit right there. That's how he does album isn't that great.
Well, no, I'm being serious. Like, I think it's like attacking, it's making people's brains dysfunction because they are expecting one thing from Lil Wayne. They're getting something different. Like, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's like Kendrick Lamar, like, Most Def.
So I like this because I very rarely get fan Felder. I very rarely get like you being passionate about something to the point of like like this is cool to me. Like this interaction is cool to me. Everyone else I have spoken to about this or talked to that I trust has told me how atrocious and ear cancery this music is. Has said that if you're going to put the Carter label on there, it should sort of consistency with the brand of the Carter, and they said
it should be their thing.
And they said it didn't even sound like it was mixed properly. So hearing this from you it excites me because it reminds me that I too am fans of things that other people find distasteful or don't like. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited that you're going to get a very private, up-close show whenever he tours this bitch.
Oh, yeah. No, I 100. I text my friends and I was like, you realize that we're 40. And we're going to be either in our mid or late 40s. And we're going to go to a Wayne show, and he's going to be in his 50s. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be dope as hell. Because we will get the Carter. Mr. Carter, how I am him. We're going to get all that. We're going to get make a lollipop. We're going to get that. But then we're also going to get this part, too. And I just think it's cool as hell, man. Like, so, yeah, I'm down with it. I like it.
This is your Spider-Man clone saga.
Like, here's the thing. I don't need other people to like it with me.
That's so for me, the version of this for me is I am a nerd. I like comic books. In the late 90s, comics became a speculative market where people were, it's basically like baseball cards a couple years ago. Everyone's like,
yes, absolutely.
Or something. And so they put up these big multi-month things. There's one Spider-Man called the Clone Saga where they replace Spider-Man with a clone and all this other shit. I'm the only person in America who still defends that run. Fight me.
Right, that it was good.
Ben Riley for life. Fight me today. But I like that you've got that in you. I like that it's about Wayne. And I like the fact that we're about to talk about some sports because that I didn't, of all the things, like legitimately since I started listening to people our age talk about this album, I've been like, I cannot wait to talk to Felder about it.
Yeah, I do. I like it. Like, somebody asked me, what are my favorite 3 Wayne songs?
Yes.
I don't think anyone from this album would be in the top 3 for me.
That's fair.
But then I started going through like Wayne song, and I was like a Millie and Lollipop, and obviously you have to get to like the walk-in, and like I'm like, I've been freaking riding with this dude for so long. Like, what do I do? Quit now?
I quit the Falcons, baby. I can, once you've hurt me, I can quit you. I'm not that low.
No. Don't get me wrong. I can quit, but I like the fact that as a guy who is around my age, he is still trying to do something different. I'm trying to do some different shit too, man. Like I'm at my kid's school every day. That's different than when I was 27. That's different. It is different. I'm on the PTA. I'm on the school improvement team. This is different stuff. If somebody would have looked at me when I was 26 and I was like just a full crash out, right?
Crash. Yes, I remember being 26. Yes.
Bro, when I was 26, I was a crash out. Like I'm fighting. I'm doing like someone asked me about, I was listening to Chapel Roan. You listen to Chapel Roan?
I don't.
So Chapel Roan, she says something in a song. She's like, let's start a bar fight. And I'm like, that was my life. Like the bouncers knew me. The bouncers knew me. They were like, hey, man.
I used to go to bouncers and be like, if something happens, what are you going to do about me? Or ask you politely to stop. I was like, fair enough.
Because you're big. I'm not. When I walked into Andrew Blair's, my man, his name was Nate. Just call him Nasty Nate. Nate played football. He played defensive line and he started offensive line. They moved him to defensive line at Clemson. So you know you're a big dude.
Moving people.
Yeah. And he was like, every time I walked in, he would go, Felder, I need tonight, like, we can't have it. And I'm like, we're going to see what happens.
And every night you'd be like, can't call it, baby. Roll these dice. I'm here, aren't we?
And I'll never forget the last bar fight. But so I'm listening to Chapel Roan. She says, let's start a bar fight. And I'm like, oh, she knows what a good time looks like. Right. Because when you start a bar fight, like this, my sister, my now sister-in-law, she was my brother's girlfriend at the time. This guy tried to dance on her. And she said, and he didn't listen to her. So I pushed him. White dude, pushed him. I pushed him. But here's the point. He's like, oh yeah? And then he's like, I'm gonna get my friend. And I was like, I don't care. And then he goes and gets this black guy, and I was like, I'm not scared of a black guy. I'm black. Like, this doesn't work on me.
In shit for you, but you've done the math wrong here, partner.
This doesn't work on me. And so this is my last bar fight. I look at him. You size him up.
Yeah.
I punch the black guy in the face. I punch the white guy in the face. Nate comes running immediately because I know I got to get both. I got to get one of them down on the ground at least.
Yeah, that's it.
And I get the white guy down on the ground. And then I got to make sure this other guy doesn't kick me. But Nate grabs me up in a full Nelson. And he's walking me out of the bar. And this is the most proud I've ever been of my little brother. I said, Nate, turn me around. I want to see what's happening. And so he does. Nate turns me around so I could watch. And my little brother grabbed the black dude's head and slammed it into a mirror on the wall. Shattered it. We all got kicked out,
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like, yeah, let's start. And I'm like, yo, that's the level of like that's love. And he didn't even know that I didn't start the fight. The guy started the fight by dancing on my sister-in-law.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't start the fight.
Okay.
My brother finished it.
He did that. I'm not gonna. We can litigate who started. Your brother did indeed finish.
How did I start the fight?
I'm not doing this with you.
Punching the person?
I'm not doing this with you.
I didn't start the fight.
Okay.
Don't dance on my sister-in-law.
I told you I wasn't gonna litigate this. I'm not gonna do it.
Don't.
You know,
if she says no means no.
Last night, you and I both stayed up to watch the Pacers.
Yeah.
Put them paws on them Thunder. All season, everyone's like, how do you keep pace with the Thunder? How do you keep up with them? How do you score with them? And the Pacers were like, what if we just grab these motherfuckers? Like, one Pacer foul out, another Pacer with 5 fouls. You only get 6. You got to use them. 107, 116 is the final. It is just, for me, it was fantastic to watch. It was a thing where it's like we're seeing depth on the roster. We're seeing new plays to win. Always benches play better at home. But holy shit, we got a series on our hands, brother.
Well, there's two things. Chet, I didn't realize Chet was going to be this type of a problem. Like his name's Chet, dude.
His name's Chet. But once he got healthy and you got to watch him play, I would invite you just go find the first time on the schedule next year they play San Antonio and watch him and Wemby fight. It's like watching two giant Gumbies who absolutely hate each other but are very good at basketball.
Yeah. And then the thing for me, like I wrote something. I wrote it down. Where did I write it? I grew up a North Carolina fan.
Right on.
So for people that don't know, UNC was the pioneer of Four Corners. Mm-hmm. So the only thing that made me mad was
real quick time out. For those who are listening who don't know what Four Corners are, at the end of a game or when you're up big, you don't. And back when there was no time,
offense, it wasn't even at the end of the game. Their whole offense was just four corners. They made a shot clock because of it.
That's why there's
a shot clock. It's because of they could win games 6-2.
They're gonna wear you out by just passing it around.
You're just gonna pass it around and pass and cut, pass and cut, pass and cut, pass and cut, pass and cut. Don't shoot. No. Don't shoot. Unless you get a layup, don't shoot. Just wait. 18-16 basketball games. And they're like, hey, we got to do something about this. How about this? We got the hoop, we got the goal, we got the backboard. Let's put a thing on top. Tells you how long you have until you have to shoot. That's because of Dean Smith in Four Corners.
Yes.
And so when I'm watching this, what I'm saying is like, Phil Ford spoke at my church.
Yeah.
The master, he spoke at my church, the master of Four Corners. And so when I'm watching this, that's in my mind. I don't understand why the Pacers were taking shots. You already had the game in hand. Why are you taking shots with double digits on the shot clock?
This is a team that played such good defense. They allowed 2 field goals in the last 6 minutes of the regulation. Like that was like the end of that game was a suffocation that I thought like that for me. Watching these teams in the playoffs, that's the Thunder. They go up on you, they choke you. It's Alabama in the early 2010s. Right. It was we scored enough points, and now we're gonna choke you. And it was wild to watch that formula get turned on them last night, and to watch Halliburton and the young men off the bench, like everyone stepped up. Yeah. Watch Halliburton kind of direct the thing. I love watching him play because it's breaking the brains of like Stephen A. Smith and shit like that. Because we've been so enmeshed in hero ball since like Jordan that to see someone command, run, and control a game without having to score to do so. Like for a while, that was LeBron until he looked around and was like, "Oh, y'all can't do what I need you to do sometimes." And so go ahead.
Yeah. Shout out to Pascal Siakam.
Man.
Come on.
Find a way to do it, baby.
And my only critique of the game was why are you taking shots with double digits on the shot clock? Like I'm looking at because I'm trying to go to bed.
Yes.
I'm trying to go to bed.
That game was too close to ever really comfortably go to sleep. That's accurate criticism of that game.
I'm trying to go to bed. It's 2 minutes to play.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you taking a shot with 14 seconds on the shot clock? Just wait.
It's a different world.
Pat, give me one more pass. And this is something that, I don't know. Does your wife watch with you?
Yes.
Okay, so are you like? Do you? And I don't want to call it mansplaining because I don't think it's mansplaining. I think it's just hoops talk.
Yeah.
Where I count dribbles. Okay, now I sound like a psycho.
No, you don't. I'm just curious. That's never crossed my mind, but this is interesting. I want to hear this.
I count dribbles.
Okay.
Because in new hoops culture, there's a lot of dribbling that should not be happening,
Fair.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like, if you take more than 3 dribbles without a shot or a pass, I think you're doing it wrong.
You're wasting time. Yeah.
You're wasting but you're also wasting everyone's time.
Mm-hmm.
Which also means nobody's getting open. Nobody's moving.
No one's moving. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the way that I look at it. Like, and this is me crazy. I played an emotion offense growing up where, you bring the ball, and I'm not talking about bringing the ball down the court. You bring the ball down the court, point guard at the top of the key. You got your wingman. I was the wingman, so you get your wingman on the right. If he's got a clear path, he takes the clear path. If he doesn't, he pushes it to the corner. You hit the cut, you get the ball. Maybe you get a layup. If you don't get the layup, you get the ball, you push it out. But that's the way I think about basketball, was right. From this like motion, like everybody's moving. And they do 2 things that I absolutely, this whole entire series, this whole entire playoffs.
This is a series for you then, because this has been a lot of that for both these 2 teams.
Yeah, but the thing that they both do that I don't like, and the Knicks do it even more. The Knicks did it even more, and my wife was like, "Why are you getting upset about this?" Is they rebound the ball and don't put it back up.
And kick out, yeah.
The rebound to kick out, and I'm like, but it's the analytics guys that are talking about, well, a 3-pointer is better than a 2-pointer. Yeah, I know, I can fucking count, dude. But if I'm 4 feet away from the basket, that's a higher percentage shot.
Let me get these 2.
Let me get these 2. Maybe I get an and one. That's still a 3-pointer, right?
Mm-hmm. It's a long, yeah, you're not wrong.
Like, I just don't, but watching the game, like, again, I love the way that because they have the Pacers have the players to do what I think Thibs wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
They have the players to play great defense, to pack it in, make you earn every single point, and then still go out and find a way to score, which I guess if you're that confident in your scoring, sure, you're going to take shots with 14 seconds on the shot clock, even though there's only 2 minutes left in the game and you're up, what are they at, by 10? Like, like you're gonna still take those risks. When in my mind, I'm like, and I'm thinking about it the way that you and I think about it, like from a football standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to give them the ball more.
Yeah.
Right?
I think, so for me, watching last night was really interesting because everything you said. Like, I enjoy watching the Pacers play because of the ball movement, because of the defense. And last night, it was because of the depth. Every time you thought, like, oh, they're a little burned here, they brought in someone off the bench. TJ McConnell, who will never have to pay for a drink in Indianapolis because he is super white. And he is the gym rat archetype. Everything y'all told us Delhi was in 2016, this is what this man is in reality. And then like Ben Mathurian, who has been a bench guy. I think he got like 12 minutes of burn in game 1 and like 22 in game 2 because of the blowout. He went out and maximized his minutes, 27 points, 9 of 12 from the floor, 7 of 8 from free throw.
Yeah.
And for me, like, that's when you say this is the ideal of what Thibs wanted to get to. It's this, but without Thibs' personality, because Carlisle's trust and willingness to trust that depth on his bench. The willingness to say, hey, I know you can do this, go do this. And then to have your lead player say, let me find ways to get you involved and get you successful. Because the problem, and we'll talk about the Knicks in a second because their coaching search is a tragedy. But to watch these cats come in and have, confidence in each other and confidence in themselves, that's one of those things that I thought down the stretch, as you look at the fourth quarter splits, there's a 14-point disadvantage for the Thunder in the fourth quarter. They didn't score 20 points. Like that's always we talk about like dirty stuff. My benchmark is if I can hold you to 20 or lower in a quarter, I can win this game. One of the 4 quarters, I can win this game because that means my defense showed up. And in that 4th quarter, not only did the defense show up, it looked to me, and again, you saw it too. I thought the Thunder were tired, and all I could hear was your voice saying, "Run the damn ball." If you keep running,
yes, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly how it felt. Like they were just like, we're going to keep doing it. Like, again, I only had one problem with what they did.
Yeah.
But everything else that they did was great. And obviously coming off the bench to get 27 is amazing.
Man.
And you're just like, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to do it to you. And there's nothing you can do. And I guess the real part of this, and I'm glad you mentioned Alabama, because the real part of this is there's nothing you can do about it.
There's here's how bad it was. The bench for the Thunder scored.
Dude, I'm looking at it right now. Wow.
The 30 27, 31, 41. They scored 49 on the bench for the Pacers.
Well, here's the thing. Did you see Shea's face when he was on the bench in the 4th quarter?
Dog.
He looked tired.
He is like, even when he was at Kentucky, his big thing was, I'm a stamina monster. I'm going to outwork you in the 4th quarter when you're tired and gasping, grabbing for air. My sweatband won't be wet. And last night was the first time I've watched Shea SGA and been like, that's a tired young man.
He was exhausted. And here's the thing, and I think about this, I'm going to take it back to when I was in college. We used to go, because did you guys play pickup? Like, did you guys go to like the gym at the rec gym? Open run, yeah. So we used to go to that, and would just be, it'd be, like there'd be 8 of us, 8 football players.
It'd be football players playing basketball.
It's football players playing basketball. And then you get these guys that like envision themselves as maybe they could be walk-ons at UNC or they were hoopers in college, whatever. And so, and you check up size on size, right? Like,
yeah.
But what they don't realize is our size is different.
It is tall and big man, not just tall. Or
like
big
I'm a almost 6 foot tall man. And so I'm guarding another almost 6 foot tall man or a 6'1" man, no problem. But he weighed 171. I weigh 215.
It's a different.
And I'm leaning on. He wants nobody to touch him. I'm leaning on him. I want the contact, and the Pacers feel like a team that wants that contact, not fouls. I'm not talking about fouls.
Well, but when the fouls occur, they don't freak out about them.
Yeah. But they lean on you, and they lean on SGA hard. And he's
the top defenders on him. Neesmith had 6 fouls. He fouled out. Neiman had 5. He got picked up 5. Like they 7 and 8 points respectively. That's the difference in the game. The ability
they give them to you for a reason. They give you those. You gotta. What's the point of going home? If you go home with 2 fouls,
they don't roll over.
If you go home with 2 fouls, what's the point? If you go with 2 fouls and an L, what are you doing? So they leaned on him so heavy, so hard, and I don't think he's ever been leaned on like that, because this is, again, it's the finals, right?
Yeah.
It's the finals. The fuck is the point of saving fouls for what?
Tomorrow.
Let's go. And they leaned on him, and then, like you mentioned, the headband, that was moist. Headband was moist, sweat was dripping, and if you're my star player, here's what I'm going to say. And shout out to LeBron, shout out to Jordan, shout out to Larry Bird, shout out to these guys. If I'm in the 4th quarter and my best player is huffing and puffing on the bench.
Oh, shit. You know what it reminds me of?
What?
Anthony Richardson last year. I'm too tired. Pull me out.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't, dog. If you're a leader, you can't do it. I'm sorry.
You
can't. A coach can sit you down and be like, hey, I'm taking the choice out of your hands, but you can't hand up, man up. I can't do this no more.
Come on. Hey, somebody come and get me.
Everyone's looking at you. You can't just sorry. It is the weight of the pressure of the expectations.
And I'm not questioning, like, it is. I just think that this summer for him could be incredibly transformational, because he's going to realize I do have to lift weights more. I do have to get stronger. Do have to work on conditioning, and I do have to be ready.
You just brought up to me? Shea did national team last year. He didn't have a full offseason that he's used to. He didn't get to do the timing. Like that's something I always point to the positives of. You get around other pros who do things at a high level, particularly with the USA team, and you come back rejuvenated. We see the leap people make. It happened across the league this year.
Right.
I hadn't considered how it could be negatively affecting you if you're already a top flight guy and how it's disrupts your training pattern.
Yeah, it is. And I think that Michael Jordan talked about it when after his first year when the Pistons just beat the hell out of him. And we've seen LeBron talk about it because he's our age playing in the NBA still.
No, making all NBA teams, not just playing.
But he's talked about it. But also, this is a whole other thing. But these guys are all losers, anyways. But it's fine. Like they're $1 million losers. But Michael Jordan had to he did have to work out. He was one of the first guys to really introduce weight training and all that because the Pistons were beating the hell out of him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have to be stronger or this is going to be a real problem. And then everybody else starts lifting weights. And now these, like I said, these guys are all losers. They don't go out. They're all straight edge. They're not doing cocaine and they're not doing cocaine and smoking cigars and like Michael Jordan played 36 holes of golf and smoked a cigar and drank beers and then went and put 40 up in Chicago. These guys aren't doing that. So if you're not doing that, you should be doing something else. And the something else for SGA is lifting weights so that you don't look like a waif. You gotta you're going to have to get stronger. And I understand, like you said, they are kids. He still has a kid's body. Am I wrong about that?
He's 26. He's entering his prime. He has a body that has not been built for the rigors yet. But I think if you look at some of the team stats, some of these things are a bit more jarring. The Thunder finished with 4 blocks. And
Chet has a kid's body.
5.
Chet has a kid's body.
I ain't calling Chet no kid, man. I'm too tall, man.
I think he's a very good basketball player. I just think
yeah, but that's also again, we're football players. What are you doing?
And you know what? Maybe that's my bias. I still also I think it's hilarious that Kevin Durant couldn't bench 225.
He'll drop 40 on you right now.
He will, and I'm not saying they can't score, right?
Yeah, it's the other side.
But when people lean on you, when people push on you, when people get heavy on you, you have to have a body that can stand that. And that's all I mean. I'm not when I say you have a kid's body, I'm not talking I'm not calling you bad. What I'm saying is that you have to get work to be physically stronger so that this does not impact you, so that the collisions don't impact you, so that Paul Pierce had a kid's body. We're talking about a guy that was in a wheelchair. And he had a it wasn't a good kid's body, but he had a kid's body. And literally he was still one of the best scorers in the NBA.
Yeah.
But you wheel me what?
Okay, so last thing, we're gonna move on from this and go talk about the Knicks because this has gotten hilarious since I recorded Monday with Nada. Last thing, I was texting someone about this last night during the game. The Thunder, it's not just that they won so many games as they won. It's not just that they were as dominant as they were. The point differential is the highest it's ever been in the NBA for them.
For sure, because they can score.
Are they too unaccustomed to close games as opposed to the Pacers who when things get tight late, they seem to come alive? And I feel like maybe it was just the youth. This is also the youngest team that's ever been in the finals, in the Thunder. So maybe I'm just projecting. But do you think there's something to be said for the fact that they've been whipping niggas' ass all year, and now it's hey, man, what if we hit back?
I think it's more youth than skill. And I do think that being accustomed to playing close games does matter. I do think that I think that goes hand in hand with youth because that's experience. Mm-hmm. And I do, and again, we mentioned with SGA going to the sidelines, you're not supposed to ever come out of the game in the fourth quarter.
They pull you at the beginning and then you run through the end. That. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not fair, but that's how it is.
Yeah, it's fair. Fuck fair, man. We're trying to win.
Fair is an annual event held by the county.
Yeah. So no, I think youth does factor in, but youth is experience and. That's why I got mad at the Pacers, because they've been in close games all the time. But why are you shooting the ball with 14 seconds on the shot clock?
Because they ain't scared. They don't change shit.
I think fear is the operative word here, right? Where the Pacers are not worried about in these spots. They're not worried about losing. Like what? Hang on, let me look at. I got it right here. The Thunder won 123-107, right? Game 2.
Blowout.
Mm-hmm. 111-110, Pacers.
Hey.
116-107, Pacers.
Hey.
Like they're comfortable, and it's one of those things. And I think about this a lot. I'll relate it back to my life.
Yeah,
I cook. You know this.
I do know this.
I cook, and so just like the Pacers cooked the Thunder in 2 games. But I cook. So when something goes wrong, I don't panic. If I don't have an ingredient, I don't panic.
Right.
I'm not running to the store. No, we're good. We're good. We are good. I hold steady. I figure out what I'm going to do next, and I get it done, and I get dinner on the table every single night for my family. Every night. It might not be the vision that I had originally, but I won that night, and I'm going to win again.
You're experienced enough to realize that the vision changes when things happen.
Right. Like, do you think that they had my man, Benedict? You think they had him going for 27 on their bingo card?
Dog, that coach mad as fuck. He's like, because if you look at like honestly, like that's just one of the things.
You've got scouting reports before, right?
Yeah, but like if you look at the box score, you're like, okay, they had 3 starters under 10. Good job.
Yeah, we did it.
Siakam held to 21, 14, 21, not that efficient.
Awesome.
Tyrese, 22 points on 17 shots. Let's go cook these motherfuckers. Tyrese Halliburton didn't get fouled once to send him the line. This motherfucker shot 0 free throws. We did a great job. Obi Toppin, 8 points, light work. TJ McConnell, yeah, that's kind of annoying.
We're good.
Shit, 10 points, 5 steals. We're good. Who the fuck has been?
Yeah, exactly. Like, can you imagine? Going into a football game and a second string defensive tackle get 3 sacks?
That happened for us. No, oh my God. So, all right, we're going to talk about Thibs in a second. But my junior year is my first start. We're on the road against Fordham, playing in the rain under the lights. Our starting defensive end gets hurt. And they put in a young man who is now like a financial wizard, Jeff Oki. Jeff's from Canada. Jeff is Nigerian, and Jeff hates football. Jeff hated football.
It's a vehicle.
He came in as a fullback, and dog, very much so. He came in as a fullback from Canada, and they popped him up in the backfield. Goes, well, what do I do? Like, you didn't play football? He goes, no, I never really played this before in my life, and figured it out. But dog, that night, junior year, he broke the singles game Columbia sack record.
He was out there being Elvis Dumerville.
Dog, he had 5 sacks in 2.5 quarters of work. This motherfucker put on a show.
And y'all played Fordham. Fordham doesn't even know who this kid is.
Dog, Fordham's like, this is not even a roster, dog. He's on the travel squad. How did he get here? But it was the first game of the season, and it was in the Bronx, so he traveled everyone.
Oh my gosh. See, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's stuff you can't account for, but that's coaching, that's preparation, that's all that. And I just think because to circle back to the main point, when you get hit with something that you don't expect, that's not on the scouting report, that you're not ready for, especially as a young player, it's really hard to counter and to come back from, because they don't have, let's be real, they didn't have a strategy for this player. They didn't have an answer for a guy that almost scored 30 points against them.
They only have one player on their roster who played in a finals before. It's Alex Caruso. He won that ring with the Lakers in the bubble. But he wasn't a pivotal part. Like, he was an offensive stopper. Yeah. Pascal Siakam earned that motherfucker for Toronto.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't Kawhi, but he was he was not an all-star ran. He was that dude up there. So I think that having someone in the position that he's in to be that stabilizing voice and force, carrying them a long way. And again, it goes back to the thing you talked about. A lot of this is youth. A lot of this is experience. People touted, this is the youngest team ever to make a finals. They're going to make 8 in a row. That also means that they may not be ready today. And so I'm not sure it's going to go one way or the other. I don't know how it's going to go. You're going to listen to Friday morning, and then Friday night, you're like, Palmer's an idiot. That's fine.
Dude,
it's there.
I just got done highlighting heat sheets for a swim meet. Okay, like my daughter's one of the youngest people on like the proper swim team.
Right.
She's not going to get it all today.
Not today, but she's going to get it though.
But she's going to get it, and like she has scored for her team.
Yeah.
She scored for breaststroke. She has scored for the IM relay. Like they've scored. Like her IM relay team is the youngest IM relay team out of all the teams that we swim against. And
I love it.
They score. And so it doesn't mean that you can't score, that you can't win. It's just they still have to learn some things, because they had a hard time on Monday. They had a really hard time, and I'm not trying to make this all anecdotal, but on Monday they had a hard time because my kid and her teammates are used to diving off the blocks.
Yeah.
This team, their pool is too shallow.
I hated those pools.
To dive in, right. And so they have to come off the wall, and they're not as good at that part of streamline, pushing off the wall.
Right.
And so they didn't score the way that they're used to scoring. And I think that's what we're dealing with the Thunder. Like the older kids on her team helped them win the meet, but they weren't used to that because I go to practice every Saturday. They're used to, they spend, in a 30-minute practice, they spend 10 minutes on diving in and streamlining.
Yeah.
They're not used to this other way. And that's what I think when we're looking at the Thunder, to relate it back, we're looking at them not be used to small ball, grind ball. And even though they're scoring 100 points, they're not used to this like grind, slow, like let's make it work. Which again, that's why I was mad they were shooting at 14, because you should have extended the game a little bit longer. But should have shortened the game, excuse me. But they're not used to like this level of intensity. And you have to get there, especially as you mentioned, Pascal Siakam. Like we're watching these guys who have been there before, watching guys who have gotten stuff done. You're watching all this stuff happen, and you have to realize that you can be the youngest team all you want. These grown-ass men, they got kids. They're like, no, doc, like I'm not. It's the same as when you go from high school to college, right?
Oh, man. I can't explain to someone who hasn't done it how much of a different life, how much your life changes trying to play college sports.
Dude, I told you, we talked about it last time when somebody called me a Toyota Celica, and it's just one of those things. It's one of those things where you're like I got teammates that have kids. Like this is not like a game for them. They want to get to the NFL.
They got this is a vehicle.
Yeah, and then when you get to the NFL, you got guys that they got kids.
They got families.
And they got a mom that they want to put in a new house, and they got bills. They don't live in a hotel.
And they see you coming for their job.
Yeah, that's the other part. They're like, oh, you want this? No, dog, I'm not giving it to you. James Harrison, bro, you think James Harrison was a bus driver, and he was like, I'm still trying to get in the NFL.
James Harrison ran off so many linebackers out of Pittsburgh.
He's like, bro,
you ain't getting this job, dog.
I can tell you what you're not going to do. I'm gonna do the whole Superman on Muhammad Massaquoi, bruh. And that's what the Pacers are doing to them.
That's Muhammad Massaquoi, man. That was fucked up. You said his name, but I forgot about him for so long.
Bro, I love Muhammad Massaquoi. I played against him. Him and you know who else? Mario Rayleigh.
Yeah, man. I'm talking dogs now.
Yeah, dog. I was on the front page of the sports page, but it was just my foot because Mario Rayleigh beat me on a sluggo and dove into the end zone, and you could just see my foot on the front page of the sports page of the Charlotte Observer, and I'm just like I'm never gonna get there.
I'm glad we weren't teammates because this has been framing your locker, man. I'd have found you, man. Oof.
Oh, dude, I love it.
I talk cash shit. The Knicks. So on Monday's show, I came on here and talked about how they had to fire Thibs and There clearly was a plan.
Sure.
In the show, Nana tells me that they fired him because Jim Dolan told them to, which made me not like my allies. The last 5 days.
Oh, that's your boy.
The last 5 days have proved me wrong as shit. Because I was like, hey, man, they wouldn't do this without a plan. Wrong.
They don't have a plan.
They didn't have a plan B, plan C, because every person, the only people they've allegedly talked to, the public has known about, has been coaches who have teams. And every team is like, no, you can't talk to our fucking coach. The Bulls, the Hawks, the Jazz, and of course, the Mavericks. Because Jason Kidd, he is their target. He's what they think they want, and God bless them if they want him. But the Mavericks said you can't interview him. And so now I was like, oh, they'll just go around him and hire him anyway. Because a couple years ago, Jason Kidd was traded from the Nets to the Bucks for 2 second-rounders. So there's precedence in his life. But what I didn't realize is that these motherfuckers are that incompetent. I don't know why I assumed after 2 years of like looking like you knew what you were doing and doing what I thought was right and firing Thibs, that this is where they end up. But
it's bad.
Did you see what Thibs did today?
No, what did he do today?
He got a full-page ad in the New York Times thanking the city and the fans and the players.
Dude, this is ridiculous.
Jim Dolan, how you lose the bad decision-making war and the PR war in 4 days? The fuck happened?
Dude, it's bad.
Oh
and
my God, it's so
if and I love Jason Kidd. You know that. We all know I love him.
Yeah, I know. I feel very differently about him than you do.
I love him, dude. You kidding me? Love me some Jason Kidd.
Snake.
Hey man, the world needs snakes.
We got maybe we need fewer snakes now. We got a lot of snakes out there running shit. Maybe just I don't know.
Well, hang on. I don't think he's a venomous snake.
Oh, brother, we can go with Jason Kidd oeuvre and how we've gotten here.
I mean, listen. I think he's more like a black snake.
Between him and Doc, there's been enough black men to rise to prosperity in the NBA where I ain't got a cape for him no more.
I understand. I understand that too. What I'm saying, when I say black snake, I think that there's ways that he can be useful,
like a rat snake.
Black snake, rat snake, black snake. Yes,
helps maintain.
King snake. I'm not saying he's not a cobra.
No, he's not a cobra.
Like we got some cobras. And we got some.
The only reason I would say he's not a Cobra is because he was an assistant on that Lakers staff that won the title in the bubble, and nothing's come out of that yet. I'm still waiting to hear what he was like behind the scenes. How many shots he was trying to take. He's one of the. I think he's one of the best basketball minds that we have. Yes, 100%.
I think that he is also. But also, can I say this? I don't know. I think Thibs is one of the best. Thibs is one of the best basketball minds that we have.
I disagree.
Really,
because again, on that level, it's X's and O's are very important.
I think he's bad at people.
Guess what? That's 90% of that fucking job.
Right. So the basketball mind is different than good at people.
But the thing is, those are two intertwined in basketball, because if you lose the people, your mind doesn't matter.
That's a very good point. You're correct.
In football, you can be an asshole and be a coach. Shout out to most coaches.
Yeah, shout out to fucking UNC, Bill Belichick.
I didn't say it. I just thought it.
Are you fucking joking?
All these articles talking about the kids about how funny he is. I'm like, wait a second.
They're lying.
I know, but I don't know why you gotta lie to kick it, baby? It's your first media availability since the bowl game. Like, what are we doing?
Dude, I have friends that work in Raleigh. They work in Durham. They have not got to talk to him. No. I don't know if I'm gonna get to talk to him in Charlotte for ACC Media Day.
You're gonna talk to Mike Lombardi. They're gonna send Michael.
That's going to be wild. I literally got off. I had a call with Learfield because I'm doing media days for them.
Oh, shut up.
I don't know if I'm going to. I think this is third year in a row.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to get to talk to the head coach of the school I played football at.
Sounds about right. Well, you took us a good place. I want to talk about college football for a second.
Yeah, for sure.
The settlement came down. I'm of the belief that nothing's going to actually change. The only changes that are going to come is that you've reintroduced Bagman. The biggest problem with all the settlement, and first, those who don't know, the NCAA, the Senate came down with the settlement or whatever it was, and they said that essentially schools can and should pay players directly. The next hurdle is going to be one, no one is operating on behalf of the players.
Right.
And two, we're now one step closer to what the universities really don't want, and that's making these motherfuckers employees.
Yeah, because then you have to give them health insurance.
And then you owe them something.
Yeah.
I mean, so when everyone's like, oh, this is a win for this. No, this is a win for the institution of the NCAA to keep their pockets full.
Yes.
And it's a move. It's a win for anyone who wants to see football spun out of the NCAA, because this is one step closer.
So here's the thing. I will say this because I do think it's worth. I do think it's important to note. When I was at school, I did have health insurance through the school.
Yeah,
I did have school health insurance. Like when I had to go get MRI, my family didn't ever have to pay for me to like get every time I got a concussion. I didn't have to get in. They didn't have to pay for an MRI or pay for a CT scan or any of those things.
Yeah. When I lied about concussions, it was not because of the cost.
Like literally, so I was a part of the. Do you remember that big concussion study?
Yeah.
Because Virginia Tech was testing helmets, Wake was testing helmets, UNC was monitoring concussions, like trying to figure out if you could identify CTE.
Yeah.
And it was like a joint ACC project, and I was one of the people that did it. And so I got an MRI every single week.
That's wild.
I got an MRI every week.
Did you get picked or did you volunteer?
No, I didn't fucking volunteer for that.
I didn't know, man. I was like, the fuck? How'd this happen?
No, just every Friday at 1:00, I had to go to the hospital and get it.
Goddamn second. So you before walkthroughs on Friday?
I didn't play.
All right.
And we also didn't have walkthroughs on Friday.
When did you have walkthroughs?
We had Thursday walkthrough. We traveled Friday.
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah.
And they did if it was a home game, they did walkthrough at the hotel. If you didn't travel, guess what you have? Time to go get an MRI.
Okay, all right. Different experiences. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I went and got an MRI.
That machine sucks.
You can't go to sleep.
It's 2025. I hope they've improved.
Yeah, you can't.
Gotten better, man. This is ridiculous.
You can't go to sleep in there. It's kind of jiggling you around a little bit. It's like
it's not like you're even still. The machines. I hate MRI. Oh,
I hate them too.
MRI in about 20 years.
Bro, I got 12 MRIs in one seat. I got 12 MRIs, and it's all.
I want to check some of your radiation levels. The fuck,
bro? Yeah, I got all these MRIs. You go in there. So the health insurance part is good. If they become employees, I think that the interesting part will be how they handle that, because you become employees, then you have to deal with workman's comp, which is the whole reason that the NCAA exists. That was my main point before I detoured. Because if you get hurt on the job, hey man, we all see the commercials, right? Call me. They got Jackie Childs over there.
Pay me.
What are you, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000?
So when we were in school,
medical?
Yeah. 2 years after graduation. My thing, and the thing I said to Nata on Monday, and you and I talked about this on this podcast when it happened, we were the only two people that I heard who talked about what a big deal the Northwestern denial of the unionization was.
Right.
Because we were like, hey guys, this is a thing that actually affects like the rank and file players. NIL is cool and cute and it's going to turn into hell, which it has. But like, we're talking about negotiating union, and no one gave a shit. And now, hey, you're saying this because StreamYard crashed for the second time in a week during a recording. Once is a happenstance, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is enemy action. If you guys have other hosting services that allow you to record video, stream video, things of that nature, let me know, because apparently this isn't the most reliable thing in the world. You missed out on a fantastic conversation between Felder and I about taxes and NIL, and then a very, very, very funny conversation that we're going to run back next week. But make sure you check out him at It's Felder on Blue Sky, in the Bleachers on Twitter. Make sure you follow his Substack. Make sure you listen to Hand in the Dirt. And as always, DanaPalmerMortgages.com. Make sure if you pay your rent, you can pay a mortgage. It's my job to help you qualify. Check out Life, Love, and Real Estate. Episode 10 comes out next Wednesday, talking about legacy and that which we leave behind. That is the show. There is no outro. We'll see you guys early next week. Have a great weekend. And happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.